Let's face it, being a mental health professional is hard work. And it's even harder when you're newly into the profession, you're just getting your feet wet, you don't know what you don't know, and you're struggling with imposter syndrome. This is really common. And I myself, when I was new into the profession, also struggled with imposter syndrome. And so I want to give you some tips and strategies to help you overcome that because I know it's possible, and also to help you feel more confident so that you can continue to navigate this new phase that you're in with ease. If you are new here, my name is Lauren. I'm a licensed therapist, private practice owner, and board approved supervisor. And I want to talk to you about imposter syndrome today because it is so common. And if you're struggling with this, you are not alone. Please hear me when I say that. You are not alone. So many people have previously felt this way, still feel this way, and are going to feel this way as they are deciding to move into the mental health profession. The one thing I want you to hear, though, is that it does get better and you can feel more confident in the work that you're doing. And so I'm going to give you some helpful strategies today to use to hopefully help you boost your confidence and to reduce some of that self doubt that you're feeling about the work that you're doing and who you are as a therapist. Okay, so let's first start out with this really important tip, which is don't fall into the trap of comparing yourself and where you're at on your journey and what you know to someone who is not in the same place on their journey as you are. It is not fair or helpful for you to compare yourself to someone who's been in the profession longer than you. And it's going to make you feel like crap because it's very easy to look at someone and go, wow, you've been in practice for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You know X, Y, and Z. You do A, B, and C. You have all these accomplishments, and I am not there. And so I don't feel good about this comparison. So we want to immediately stop that if you're doing that. Don't fall into the trap of comparisons. And if you are comparing yourself to someone who's not on the same journey that you are, or they're light years ahead of you in their profession, then we really want to spot that and stop doing that and say, nope, that's not a fair comparison. That's not helpful. I need to stay present in who I am, where I am, and not worry about what everybody else has going on or the accomplishments that other people have or what someone who is light years ahead of me in their profession, who is well seasoned, is doing and what they know and what they're accomplishing, because it's just not a fair comparison and it's not going to make you feel good. The only person that you really need to compare yourself to is who you are and where you want to be and who you were yesterday, because that's a point of actual fair comparison of you are you. And you can compare your growth, you can compare how much you're working and your success and all of these accomplishments, but to compare that to someone else is just never going to feel fair. So definitely minimize comparisons if you can and just focus on where you're at and where you want to be. I also see a lot of new therapists really struggling to put on this image that they think people expect a therapist to look like or act like a therapist is supposed to act. And I myself struggled with this when I was new in the profession because I was getting the narrative that therapists needed to be very buttoned up. We never self disclose. You need to look very professional. You're wearing like a nice suit jacket and slacks, and you are presentable and you are polished. And I remember trying to fit into that mold and thinking, this is just so not me. Like, I want to be comfy. I don't want to wear heels. I don't want to wear heels. I do not want to have to wear a suit. Like, I want to be comfy and authentic in me. And I see a lot of people feeling that they're imposters because they're trying to push themselves into a mold that they believe is what a mental health professional should look like. And it's not the case. There are so many different mental health professionals out there, and there's so much diversity, which I think is what makes finding a therapist a lot easier because who wants cookie cutter therapists that all look the same, that all practice the same, that have all the same personalities, that are all dry and have no humor? And that just sounds terrible. So, you being authentically you and really leaning into that and not trying to fit into this mold of who you think as a mental health professional you should be or what you should wear or what you should say or any of those things is going to help you feel less like an imposter, because when we can just lean in and be our authentic self, then we're just naturally not going to feel like an imposter. We're not going to feel like something that we're not, and we can actually rely on those things that make us authentically us as a form of a strength and really put that out there. And you will see, if you do that, people tend to like that. People want you to be you. They don't want you to be this version of yourself that you're trying to be. And it's a lot of energy to try to put on this persona or project this image that's just not realistic to who you are. And it's going to create feelings of worry and self doubt. And so, my tip would be just be yourself, be authentic, and be who you want to be. The narrative out there that therapists need to look or act a certain way is mostly just wrong. We have a code of ethics, and you should absolutely adhere to your code of ethics, but everything after that is free game. If you're being yourself and you are showing up as your true self and you're still being professional, but you're also being human, then I really don't think that you can go wrong. So, really, just be yourself. And when you're not feeling like you know what you're doing and you're not feeling very confident, my next tip would be really take a minute and try to focus on your strengths. It's so easy to get bogged down with all the things that you feel like you don't know or that you should know, or the thoughts of self doubt that can creep in of like, I should know that, or I should be here, I should be there. It's so important to focus on your strengths in those moments and really give yourself some credit. You know more than you think that you know. You're doing better work than you're oftentimes giving yourself credit for. And it's really important that that validation starts with you. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is great when a client says, thank you so much, like you were so helpful. And they will do that. But if you are relying on that feedback solely to make you feel confident in yourself as a clinician, you're not going to feel as confident as you could be, because that's not going to be what someone says every second of every day or during every session. And yet you might really be needing to hear it a lot more. And so focus on your strengths and really take a minute and think about, what am I good at? What do I know to be true about myself? What type of therapist am I? Am I warm? Am I compassionate? Am I understanding? Am I authentic? Really think about, what are the things that I do well? I'm a good listener. I'm a good advocate. I'm passionate. All of these things actually are strengths that can help you not feel like such an imposter, but actually give your brain a chance to focus on the positives, the true things, and not the negatives, the feelings of self doubt, or the worry that you're not good enough. And you're not going to know everything that there is to know, especially when you're first starting out. There's going to be so much that you just naturally don't know and need to learn. And that's just part of the process. We have all been there. Even when you're comparing yourself to therapists who are well seasoned and they have been in the profession 10, 15, 20, 30 years, they all had to start somewhere, and you're starting in that very same place, which is, I don't know what I don't know, and I'm trying to figure that out while also still providing good services, taking care of myself, showing up for clients, doing all the things. And so it's so important that when you're struggling with imposter syndrome, that you're also giving yourself some time to really learn what you don't know. And this actually can help you feel more confident, because if I am really struggling with not feeling that I know enough about this specific topic. If you invest time and energy into learning and researching and figuring that out, that's naturally going to boost your confidence, because now I know that I have more clarity. And so I can actually use that to shape my practice, which, if I then can put that into practice, I'm also likely to feel confident, because I'm going to be able to see, hey, I didn't know a lot about this intervention. I researched it, I utilized it, the client said it was helpful. Okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing, right? Like, I can do this. I'm doing good work. So really take the time and invest in learning things that you don't know, things that you're passionate about, that you just want more information on, that interest you, to help you feel more confident in those areas, because that will just continue to build more confidence, especially as you utilize those skills and then you're able to see that it's helpful for clients. My next tip would be, if you are struggling with negative thoughts, things like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not good at this, I'm not helping anybody, I really encourage you to challenge those thoughts when they happen, because they're not true. Self doubt can create so many negative, unhelpful, even intrusive thoughts in our brain. And we have to be the ones to intentionally say, I'm choosing not to believe that. I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to tell myself something else. I'm not going to believe this narrative in my mind, which is telling me that I don't know what I'm doing, or that I'm out of my league, or that I'm not doing good work, because it's totally false. We really want to uplift ourselves. We want to encourage ourselves. And so if you're having thoughts surrounding self-doubt, like I just mentioned, it's so important to one, be able to recognize that that's happening, but then two, challenge those thoughts with more helpful, compassionate, true statements. Those could be things like, I'm doing the best that I can. I don't have to know everything. My clients find me helpful. I care about my clients and the work that I'm doing. All these statements are going to allow you to feel less overwhelmed, less worried, less full of doubt, and you're more likely to feel like, you know what, I can do this. I am doing this. I've got this. And that just builds confidence that can continue to grow and make you feel less like an imposter. So, really make sure that you are managing negative thoughts and not letting them wreck your mood. My next tip is so important. I see so many new clinicians feeling so much pressure to know it all and to know every diagnosis and to know about every intervention out there and every theory and to be able to know and do every different type of like treatment modality and intervention strategy. And I really encourage you, take that pressure off yourself. No one out there knows it all. Even if you see people online portraying themselves as experts in certain areas, that doesn't mean that they're an expert in everything. No one knows it all, and no one is expecting you as a new clinician and therapist to know it all or to have all the answers. And so I encourage you to take that pressure off yourself and be okay with not knowing certain things. You do not need to have this all figured out and be light years ahead of where you're at in your career. Where you're at serves a really good purpose. We all have to learn and grow and figure out who we are as therapists. What does that look like? And who do I want to be? And how do I show up for clients? And where's my niche? And where do I want to work? And, this takes time, and we all have to go through that period in order to get to the place that you're comparing yourself to, which is people who've been in the profession for years and years and years and seem pretty solid. But even those individuals, I still hear people who've been in the profession for 10, 20 years saying, I don't know if I want to work with this population anymore. I'm feeling like my interests are over here, but I also don't know a lot about that. Staying in a mindset where you don't have this pressure on you of I have to know it all and kind of committing yourself to I'm going to be a lifelong learner is so much better for you because it reduces again that pressure of, well, I don't know everything but I should know everything, so I must be an imposter. I shouldn't be doing therapy. I don't know what I'm doing. And it's just total crap. It really is. It is total crap. So take away that pressure. Don't put that expectation on yourself that you have to know it all and know every intervention and be trained in every modality of treatment out there. Like, it's totally okay to be exactly where you are. Even if you want to be somewhere else, we can't get there without where you're at right now. But you also do not need to know it all. No one is expecting that of you, and no one knows it all. Even if they're portraying that they do, they don't. And in line with that, another suggestion that I have is if you don't know, don't act like that you need to know. Don't act like that you do know if you don't. In fact, lean into being your authentic self and be okay with admitting that you don't know. I would much rather work with someone who can admit that they don't know something versus try to put on a front that they do and then misguide me or give me false information or misinformation. So it's actually better if you're able to say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that question. And then take that a step further and then go try to figure it out. But don't feel like that you have to put on this facade in the moment of, oh, well, I'm the therapist. The client's asking me a question or a colleague's asking me a question. I have got to know this. I've got to pretend that I know. I've got to make something up on the fly. It's going to make you feel like an imposter because it's not authentic and true. And so if you don't know something, simply just say that. You know what? I don't know. Let's figure that out. Or, you know what? I'm not sure. Let me ask my supervisor. Or, you know what? I'm not sure. Let me do some research and let's circle back on this when I see you next week. And then what that's saying is that I'm allowed to be myself. I'm allowed to be authentic. I'm allowed to not know what I don't know. And also, I'm going to figure it out because that's who I am. And I'm going to still be helpful for the client because the client doesn't need you to have all the answers. They just need you to be authentic and be willing to be open, compassionate, empathetic, and to just try your best. That's really, they don't need a perfect therapist. In fact, I think that some clients actually are turned off by certain providers because they put on this front that they know everything or they're the expert in everything. And that can be a hard person to talk to or relate to. It's a lot easier to relate to someone that goes, you know what? That's a really good question. I'm not completely sure. Let's figure that out. And I cannot finish this video without saying this last piece, which is give yourself grace. Seriously, give yourself grace. Be compassionate with yourself, be loving towards yourself, and allow yourself to be exactly where you are. It's gonna feel like you're an imposter if you continue to focus on where you're not, to focus on where other people are, and to focus on what you don't know. But as I've said in this video, it's okay to not know. You don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to know everything. That's not what someone's asking of you. And that's not even what makes a good mental health therapist or clinician. So be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. You can't know everything. You can't be light years ahead of where you are. You can't be trained in every single modality and be an expert in every single topic. You can't know the DSM by heart. And it's totally okay. If you can take those pressures off yourself and you can focus on your strengths and what you're doing well at and challenge and reframe self doubt, I am confident that you're going to stop feeling so much like an imposter. And if it's hard for you to identify your strengths, ask someone that you know that works with you. Ask your supervisor to give you some feedback on what is working well. Um, Ask clients, like, are you finding this helpful? Do you feel like that our work together is impactful? And they'll tell you, like, yes, like, thank you, like, this has been really helpful, or I actually need to focus over here. And all of that is good information. It doesn't say you're not doing a good job, but it actually can help you feel like, okay, yep, I know what I'm doing and I'm actually doing a pretty good job. And most clients are going to be quick to say, like, yes, I found that really helpful because the work that you're doing is helpful and really meaningful. So I hope that this was helpful for you in reducing that imposter syndrome. I really encourage you to give these things a try because, like I said earlier, I myself have been in your shoes. So many people have been in your shoes, and it is possible to overcome. Give yourself grace, give yourself self love, take off that pressure, and just be authentic in you and keep going in your journey because you're so new in your journey and it's only going to continue to get better and better as time goes on. Alrighty, guys, until next time, bye.